Do you feel the vibes?
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Micks Mowers. Okay, so little update today. In the last video I showed you the Sovereign 3.5 Briggs and Stratton lawnmower that currently wasn't running. We watched together and repaired that lawnmower and got it up and running, which is fantastic. Well, last night I had a little nibble on my advertising site and someone's actually agreed to purchase that lawnmower from me, which is fantastic news. And also I asked a question, does he have a lawnmower he'd like to part exchange, or does he have a lawnmower that perhaps is broken he'd like to get rid of? He actually said that he does, which is brilliant news. And the funny thing is, it's exactly the same lawnmower. It actually probably is in more rough shape than the one I had previously. But today he's going to be coming down with his broken lawnmower. He says that the drive doesn't work and that it no longer starts. So that'll be another little video for us to do, to look through, try and get that lawnmower running. So that is fantastic news. So this is the lawnmower we currently got running yesterday or the day before. This is the little Sovereign 3.5 Briggs and Stratton lawnmower that was in rough shape on the side. Now the one that's coming to me is even worse than this apparently. Although the bodywork itself is very tatty, the deck is actually in really good condition. So I'm looking forward to that. So before he turns up, he's coming this afternoon, but I just want to try and start this lawnmower up again just to make sure that does start. I don't look like a fool if he turns up and it's not running. So that's freezing cold. If I try to restart it, I won't be able to touch that exhaust manifold's freezing cold. So let's give this 3 or 4 pumps on the side. Let's pull the dead man's handle in. Let's try and give it a start. Okay, so that's fantastic. Started second or third pull and it is quite cold. It's just middle of January now, start of January, so the weather is absolutely freezing at the moment. On another plus note, I also had another person contact me because I've got several lawnmowers up for sale on my site, and another person has contacted me wanting to know if I've got any other lawnmowers for sale, which I have, and they've asked if they can have a Mountfield, which is something I have in stock. As you can see, I have several lawnmowers in stock at the moment, all in different stages of being repaired, and one of these 2 at the back is going to be for them. So I've got to drag one of them out in a minute. These haven't been started for around about 2.5 months now, so I'm going to get one of these lawnmowers out and see if I can get one started. They bought one particularly with a drive on it, so let's see if I can get one of these lawnmowers out and get it fired up. So that'd be a nice little cold start. Okay, so I've got one out the shed. So these have all been tested last summer, and I've worked on most of them to get more running. Some do currently not run. But hopefully this is one of the ones that I have got running. So this is one of the best mowers that I like to work on. These Mountfields with the Briggs and Stratton 3.5 classic Briggs on them. This is the SP 470, I believe. So let's have a little look to see if we can get this one running. Let's quickly just check the fuel. There's a bit of fuel in there, not a great deal, but it should be enough hopefully just to start it, just to test it. Let's prime it. Yeah, that's priming lovely. Give it a few more because it hasn't been started for quite a while, this one. It's got a dead man's handle, which is a red one, and the drive also on the back, on the black handle. So let's pull the red one in. Yeah, that's working. Need to get myself a tripod really, which hopefully I'm going to pick one up today. Okay, so that's a 3 or 4 primes. Let's give it a pull. Okay, that's not going to start. So let's give it 3 or 4 more pumps. And try again. Okay, that's a non-starter. So let's grab a plug spanner out the old toolbox. Let's see if we can figure out why it's not starting. There's plenty of fuel on the spark plug, and it's relatively new, this one. It may just want some clean fuel or some new fuel. The fuel may have expired. That's not corroded in there at all, so let's have a look. No, that's nice and clean. Let's say this one was running. It might be a bit low on fuel. Yeah, I think it's a bit low on fuel. Which what dead man handle is actually. Oh, that could be the reason. I think possibly that dead man's handle is not actually connecting. Let's just try one more time. Okay, so that's not running. Let's investigate some more. Okay, so all I've done so far is just take the shroud off. I just want to double check that the micro switch is actually clearing. Let's adjust the camera back slightly so you can see better. That's it. And you better see there's a micro switch, and it is actually clearing terminal itself, so it should be getting a spark because it is clearing the switch. So let's move on to testing for spark. Okay, so I've now fitted my spark plug tester. These are brilliant if you're working on your own, because this allows you to have it set up so that you can actually see from when you're pulling it. There'll be a little tiny light in here, and if it flashes then you'll be able to tell that you have actually got spark. So this just goes on one end onto the spark plug, other end onto the HT lead. That joins the circuit up, and then if you've got a spark it'll flash, if you haven't it won't. And they're cheap, they're about £2.5 £2 on Amazon or eBay, something like that, so readily available. So from here I can be able to see if I've got a spark or not. Yeah, I can just see that there, so that is actually sparking. It's not a brilliant spark, but we have got a spark, so that's good. So let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so the next thing to do is just to put some more neat fuel in here. This fuel may have gone slightly stale. It's not that old, but unleaded fuel does start to break down after 30 odd days in the UK. So let's put a bit of neat fuel in and just see if that gives it enough just to get it running. It was a bit low and I primed it. I need to get some more petrol myself by the looks of it. Let's put the top on that. So I really need this mower to go because it's sold, so I may be going down to doing a full carburetor service if not. So we've got spark, that we know, the dead man's handle is working. Let's give it 2 or 3 primes again. Let's see what happens this one. Okay, so that's fantastic news. So it literally was just the fuel was starting to go bad, and by putting in just a bit more neat fuel was giving it just enough just to get it to fire up. So that tells me that the other mowers I've got in my shed, I also now need to put some more fuel into them, or at least just get them all run up, top them up just so they're all running. So that's not bad. I did also test the self-drive on this one whilst it was running very briefly, which is working. It's got height adjustment on it on all 4 wheels. What date is this one? 2006. So I'm going to put the shroud back on it, and then I'm just going to check the oil, give it a final run up, and that'll be this one sold as well. So it'll be 2 mowers sold today, and 1 coming in with a part X as well. So that's really good news. That gives me another little mower to work on. The season is fast approaching. We are only just in January, but it doesn't take long before the grass starts to grow. And my lawn's quite a big sized lawn. I need to go to the tip today. That's my next job. I need to go down to the tip, get rid of all this stuff out of the shed. These are all old lawnmower parts that are no good. I've got some old trimmers there which I'll work on as well. I've got some old bits here I need to salvage off. This is one thing I do. I even take in old lawnmowers that are completely had it, and I mean completely rusted right the way through. They're no good to anyone, but these cables here, these cables cost about £15 to £20 on eBay or Amazon or wherever, so I like to try and salvage all of these. The grass box on this one won't be much good to anyone because it is quite a unique sort of lawnmower, but I might just take the box off it and list that on eBay as a separate listing. Also take the wheels off as well, they're a good thing to have, and if it does come with anything underside, the axles, the springs, that all comes with me as well. So I've got 2 or 3 lawnmowers there to currently strip. This one here is a Mountfield, the M6. The engine was no good, it had no compression at all, so I've taken the engine off of that one. I'm just currently waiting for a donor engine to come in to get that one up and running. So that's a future project, so look out for that video there. So let's get the shroud put back on. I can get it tested, get the oil changed or oil checked, and then we can then move on to going down the tip. That'd be fantastic. Okay, so that's the shroud all now back on. Let's just check this oil. It's been sat now for 2 or 3 minutes. Just to make sure there's oil in here. Now it looks actually quite black, so I might even do a cheeky little oil change on this as well. I'll run it up a bit more, get it all nice and warm, and do a little oil change. It doesn't cost anything to do that. I mean, it's just a nice courteous thing to do. So it's about halfway. Yeah, the oil doesn't look that good, so I'm going to do a little oil change for them as well. I'll put it down the bottom of the garden, run it up for 15 minutes, and I'll use my oil pump here, vacuum pump, which is a fantastic tool. It just stops all the mess. So I always ideally would say to run a lawnmower up for at least 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, just to get the oil nice and warm, get nice and thin, and then you can then put this pump in it goes straight into the top, or you can remove the actual oil reservoir itself and put it in there. It just saves tipping the engines upside down, so that all the oil and fuel mixes in the wrong place, which is not what you want. So I'll get this one run up, get the oil change done, and that's that one sold. So that's brilliant news. This one's going today as well, 4 o'clock, and there is another one coming in its place, which is in, I would say, more rough shape, but it's mainly cosmetic. That is the issue with a lot of these mowers nowadays. They only put one coat on here. There's no undercoat at all. They're actually very poorly painted, in my opinion. There's no, for what you're paying for a new mower, you know, £200, £160 in some places for a good one. The paint jobs are not good at all. So I just want to run this one up 15 minutes, and I need to get myself down to the tip. Okay, so I've just been checking the mowers, as I do with all my mowers before I sell them, and look at that. This is the engine mounting bolt is loose. So it's a good job I inspect all my mowers, because I don't certainly want any of my lawnmowers going to any members of the public that I sell in good faith as looked over, and the engine comes loose, or the blade starts striking a body and someone gets hurt, God forbid it be a child or anything like that. So that's a good job I just checked that one. So I think with that nut being loose there, I'm going to give this one a special check over, just to double check that everything is as it should be. As I say, I certainly don't want anyone getting hurt for a sale of a second-hand lawnmower. It's just not worth doing. If you're going to do it, let's do it right. So let's give that one a good check, and that'll be sold. Okay, so as you saw, a lawnmower that was running when I put it away at the end of the season, and I get it out no more than 2 months later, and it's a non-starter. And that's where so many people are nowadays. They have a lawnmower that was running, and then they put it away, and because it's not correctly stored and the fuel's not been taken out, the mower won't start again. And people put this up for sale for next to nothing, or even free. So that's a good little tip there. Just double check your spark plugs, double check your oil levels, make sure your dead man's handle switch is working, and if in doubt, just put a bit more fresh fuel in. As I say, unleaded fuel in this country goes off, starts to break down within 30 days. That's shocking, really. So never ever buy any more than sort of 5 litres a go, because it'll go off within 30 days and start to break down, and that's when you start to have carburetor issues. Just fill up your tank for what you need, and at the end of the season I preferably like to tie back the handles on my lawnmowers, let them run completely dry, go and have a cup of coffee, and once they run completely dry, but you know the carburetor is then empty, undo the fuel tank cap, let it all evaporate off, and then you won't have no fuel problems for the rest of the year when you come into a new season. So I'd like to give 2 little shout outs if I can, and I hopefully I get the names right, because they're the reason why I started to do this. I've always been quite good with 2-stroke and 4-stroke engines. As from a young lad, I used to work on a river down near where I live on the south coast of England, and I used to work on outboard mowers and that sort of thing. So I've always been quite good and mechanically minded that way. But people like Paul Stamp on Repair Your Lawnmowers for Profit, and Martin off of the Retro Repair channel, they're the gents that have put me in a position I'm in now, where I've got a good stock of lawnmowers, some good information, and also been now well experienced in repairing these lawnmowers, and at the same time making a little bit of profit on the side. Not a great deal, but just enough just to put a bit more money in the pocket to buy another lawnmower, to sell on to get another one. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please like, subscribe, and also touch the bell notification, so any more videos that I have coming up, you'll get a notification to say that I've released one. Thank you very much for watching, and see you again next soon on Micks Mowers. Incidentally, the next video we'll probably have doing will be on this one here. This is a Mountfield RSC 100, an HP 46R with a 46cm cut. This has also got a rear roller on it. It's not a drive, it's a push mower, but I picked this mower up for £20. This is crazy. These mowers here, they go for about £350 brand new. It's not in the best of shape, but it's in pretty good. Got a little tiny bit of paint flaking on the top. just here. That's where the fuel's come down. It had a fuel issue off the carburettor. The fuel was just dripping down past the O-ring, so I've put a new O-ring in there and it stopped that. So this lawnmower is running currently, but will require a full service. So in the next video you'll be seeing how I service this Mountfield RSC 100, which is an HP 4 6R. Thank you very much for watching. See you on the next one.